Hello, fellow hitchhikers. Today we're taking a look at a captured record that is being shared with us through Rosalee, one of our caretakers. We met Rosalee in the story of Anemone and Arborea, and there was a bit of an interruption as Anemone was going off track, and Rosalee said, "Anemone, are you feeling okay?" And Lady of the Flowers, Anemone's sister, intervened and talk a little bit about the blood flowers, which I think I've got some theories on who the blood flowers are, and I'll save that for a different video. Anyways, Rosalee did intervene and talk in this previous story, and now she's sharing her own record. So this will be a shorter summary. It is a shorter record piece of a story, and I think you'll enjoy it though somewhat. I haven't been able to find it on the website. It was, of course, on the hidden page and had a little bit of music that went with it for background, which was quite enjoyable. I haven't found where it moved on the website, but I did copy and paste my own copy as well. So I do have it just in a Google Doc here to be able to read and share. So here we go. We have two main characters in this story. We have Rosalee, the caretaker, who refers to herself as a clinician, as she runs, I believe it's called the Soul Center. It's kind of like a place where Solarbots can come and be taken care of, kind of like a hospital. And we have a young lady who brings 4 Solarbots to Rosalee, and near the end of the story, we find out this young lady's name is Scarlet. She seems to be a pilot, possibly, at least by registration. Solarbots have a baptismal registration. Scarlet's name, this young lady's name, is on the registration for these Solarbots. It doesn't take long, though, within the story that we start to realize that these Solarbots actually have a consciousness, I guess you will. They communicate, they speak with gilded tongues to Rosalee. They definitely can express love and emotion. They desire companionship. Part of me is thinking that this might be coming from the Soul Stones, because we learned through Arborea's story that the Soul Stones can transfer emotion. So I suspect that it might be the Soul Stones in the Solarbots that are enabling that to happen. We also find out that they have some flesh and some blood, which will come to near the end of the story. So what essentially happens is these 4 Solarbots get dropped into the care of Rosalee. They each have names. There's a Mark I Solarbot named Enfield, who's an Helgor unit. We have a Mark 0 named Evie. Then we have twins, Luma and Luna, who are both Mark I. The naming of the Solarbots is interesting because she actually ends up visiting a little bit with the Solarbots near the end of the story and telling them stories of previous Solarbots. So I don't know if that's foreshadowing to something that we'll be able to do as players in terms of naming the Solarbots, or if it's just an identity within the stories within this universe. We also learn about holowires. So holowires are something that is connected to the Solarbot, to the pilot, almost like a puppet on strings kind of scenario. And these holowires, these rains, if you will, require sunlight or reflected sunlight like moonlight in order for them to function. And in the Discord, this actually comes up. There was a conversation just about these materials, this hollow material, these hollow wires. The writer, Jess Lauren, is able to give us a little bit of an insight on it, and that it is a connective device like puppet strings called rains. They're made of a material only present when sunlight or moonlight are shining on them to make them real. You can imagine a hologram that becomes physical. These thin fishing lines are connected to the index and middle fingers of the pilots. If a pilot ever has to operate without sunlight around, they must carry a resource called source water, which is the water the mysterious sun has saturated. There's only one true pilot in the sense that they cannot actually climb into a bot. The very first Solarbot, indistinguishable from the pilot themselves. So we have this original Solarbot with the one true pilot, and we have this source water, which of course came up in, I think, 2 of the other stories, for sure the Arborea story with Anemone, who harvested a large amount of source water and is able to use that underground, which I think is a metaphor. So anyways, back to the story. Rosalee takes, she starts with Evie, the Mark 0 Solarbot, and takes her to the recreation yard in her center. There's sort of like a permanent amount of sun, or it's always shining sunshine there. It's water, so I'm thinking it's essentially sun water or source water. Evie drinks the water. She's quite concerned for these 4 Solarbots, as they've been very, very neglected and not taken care of. And she starts to realize, it's beyond just sensors and materials and whatnot, that there may be something wrong with Evie, that Evie might actually have gone insane. The Solarbots use telenosis, which is an ability to detect the abyss, and Evie ends up yelling beast a couple times and thinks it detects a beast, and it rips a tree out of the ground and sort of attacks this tree. And that's when Rosalee realizes that the other bots haven't really reacted, and they haven't detected the abyss, and that Evie might need to be put down, if you will. And so she takes the brainstem, or does something with the brainstem, and is able to sort of create an image or an experience in the Solarbot's mind to think that it's being resurrected into a happier place or a better place. We then have an interesting interaction, and it's not written exactly that it is literal. It implies it that Rosalee separates the flesh and the blood, the very small amount of flesh and blood inside the Solarbot, puts it into a container, but then she makes reference to the fact that she ends up eating this meal. It isn't actually explicit that she's eating the flesh, organic materials from the Solarbot. It could be that it's the emotion that she's eating, or absorbing the emotion of the death or of the Solarbot. I don't quite have a full sense of what's happening there, but either way, there's more going on than just the sort of the decommissioning of a robot, if you will. There's much more than that. We also get some references to Rosalee's ex-husband, who used to go to, and there's these comments about these distortion shows where he lost lots of money, and it seems to be kind of a thing that makes people blind or not see what's really going on. Maybe they're like movie or entertainments or something that like an escape for people. And we get a sense of the districts as a reference to the Knives district, where this Scarlet may have gone to or gone by. So we're getting a little bit of insights into the urban nature of these capital cities and some of the backstory of these characters. We see that Rosalee's husband shoots himself, or at least that's her memory of him shooting himself in water. And this isn't the first character that has shot themselves. If you remember back with Princess Yanni, her father killed himself, shot himself. So at first I was thinking maybe this was actually Princess Yanni's mother, but the names don't really check out. But this sun that's exposing the people, it does cause them to go crazy, and things happen. Many of them die, and in Princess Yanni's case, killed himself as well. The Scarlet returns, and she's won some money in gambling, barely enough to be able to replace Evie, who's been decommissioned or died. She only has then the 3 Solarbots, and so she realizes she's going to have to buy another one. And Rosalee gives her some money and to kind of help her out, which is a little bit of out of character, or at least out of routine. And we get the sense that Rosalee is a very kind and generous person, and definitely cares deeply about the Solarbots. Very insightful to get a look at the Solarbots and some of the aspects of them. They are more than just a robot. They do have emotion. They do communicate. I look forward to learning more about them and how they work together with their pilots, or at least with us as we use them in battle. And I anticipate the maintenance that they require, or the visiting and the interactions, is definitely going to be an aspect of gameplay. There's going to be some sort of upkeep, otherwise they won't perform as well or function as well. So I like how these stories are coming together and will build out the actual gameplay. And I look forward to reading the next piece of lore that just came out yesterday. I will try and make a video once I go through it and understand it and enjoy it. In the meantime, keep track of those towels and don't panic. And I'll see you around.